There was a poll done by Gallup World Poll in 2016. It was done in former Yugoslavia. The question was, breakup of Yugoslavia benefited or harmed your country? I feel that the results are misleading in many ways. I will start with Serbia. 4% said it benefited, 81% said it harmed, 15% don't know if it benefited or harmed. Foreigners jumped to conclusions and said that Serbs are Yugo-nostalgic and want new Yugoslavia. This cannot be further from truth. I think that breakup of Yugoslavia harmed my country, but I am against the creation of new Yugoslavia. My country, Serbia, lost people in the wars, suffered financially, had sanctions, huge number of citizens migrated. We were bombed and our southern province declared independence. If that isn't harm, I don't know what is. At the same time, I think that Serbia always did better on our own. When Serbia was part of Yugoslavia, there was huge toxicity between nations. Sometimes I'm really surprised that Yugoslavia managed to survive for so long. The level of hate, animosity, mocking, patronizing was unbelievable. This is one of the reasons why I am against Serbia joining EU. We should follow the example of Switzerland and avoid unions, federations, confederations with other countries. Result for Bosnia is not surprising. 6% said it benefited, 77% said it harmed, 17% don't know. Bosnia suffered biggest number of casualties in Yugoslav wars, 100,000. The fighting happened on the Bosnian territory, so many buildings, bridges, roads were destroyed. They have reasons to say that the breakup of Yugoslavia harmed their country. This doesn't mean they want new Yugoslavia. Bosnian Serb politicians are talking about declaring independence and joining Serbia. They also don't want new Yugoslavia. Next is Montenegro. 15% said it benefited, 65% said it harmed, 20% don't know. There was no fighting in Montenegro during Yugoslav wars. Montenegro was the smallest of Yugoslav republics, both by size and by population. Montenegro benefited from being part of Yugoslavia. Communists built infrastructure, started developing tourism. Montenegrins migrated to richer parts of Yugoslavia seeking education and jobs. In 1979, Montenegro suffered a devastating earthquake and it was rebuilt thanks to Yugoslav federal budget. Next is North Macedonia. 12% said it benefited, 61% said it harmed, 27% don't know. Macedonia was the only Yugoslav republic to avoid the wars. Macedonia had huge benefits from being part of Yugoslavia. Macedonia also had a devastating earthquake in 1963 and it was rebuilt thanks to Yugoslav federal budget. Also, the situation with province Kosovo created domino effect in Macedonia. Ethnic Albanians living in Macedonia tried to separate and join Kosovo and Albania. There was uprising in early 2000s, but Albanians didn't get foreign support. They had to calm down, but they remain potential future threat. Macedonia has slim chances of joining EU in near future, and this creates frustration. The only real surprise is Slovenia. 41% said it benefited, 45% said it harmed, 14% don't know. Slovenia was the first Yugoslav state to declare independence. Slovenia was also the richest state in Yugoslavia. Slovenes felt that they were giving too much money to other Yugoslav states. Slovenes benefited from leaving Yugoslavia, at least financially. Why does 45% think that breakup harmed Slovenia? My guess is that some Slovenes feel like second-class citizens in EU. In Yugoslavia, Slovenes were important. Tito was half Slovene, and Slovene Edvard Kardelj was one of the main communist ideologists. Slovenia is not the richest EU member state, which means they lost their bragging rights. Next is Croatia. 55% said it benefited, 23% said it harmed, 22% don't know. This is expected result, nothing strange about it. Pro-Nazi Ustaše, mainly ethnic Croats, were executed without trials by partisans in 1945. This action turned them into martyrs in the eyes of Croats. Many Croats felt they were victims of communist Yugoslavia. Significant number of Croats felt superior to other Yugoslav nations. They claimed to be more European, more civilized, more Christian, and even more white than the rest of us. Based on my experience, Croats tend to exaggerate their success after getting independence. Did Croatia benefit from the breakup of Yugoslavia? I would say they benefited mostly psychologically. Joining EU was confirmation they needed that they are better than the rest of us. Then why 45% Croats are not happy with the results? To be clear, they don't want new Yugoslavia. My guess is that some Croats are unhappy with the way privatization was handled. They had to face the fact that many white-collar crimes go unpunished. They cannot blame Serbs for that anymore. Now, province Kosovo shows some interesting poll results. 75% said it benefited, 10% said it harmed, 15% don't know. I think the 75% is rather low considering the situation. Majority of Kosovo Albanians never saw Yugoslavia as their country. They felt they were under occupation by Serbs. They see Kosovo War 1998-1999 as their liberation. Those who said harmed and don't know make 25% together. The remaining Serbs in Kosovo make 5 to 7% of the population. This means that many out of 25% are ethnic Albanians. What happened? Separatist Kosovo Albanians profited the most from the end of Yugoslavia. My guess is that 25% lost illusions about the future. They used to blame Serbs for everything. The truth is that Serbs had no control over Kosovo since June 1999. This means that Kosovo Albanians had 24 years to fix their problems and failed. Young Kosovo Albanians are still migrating. Kosovo Albanian birth rates have fallen down sharply. Blood feud and crime gangs still exist. Right now, Kosovo has zero chances of joining EU and NATO in near future. Unfortunately, the poll is rather old, done in 2016, so some people claim that newer poll would show better numbers for benefited. They say that older generation remembers Yugoslavia and that the results show this Yugo-nostalgia. In 2023, there would be fewer people who remember Yugoslavia. Yugo-nostalgia is a very interesting phenomenon. I noticed that some teenagers idealize Yugoslavia. This means that Yugo-nostalgia is not only for the seniors. They don't want to admit that Yugoslavia was an experiment that failed twice in 1941 and 1991. The poll question should have been, do you want Yugoslavia to reunite? The answer would be no. How realistic is the reunification of Yugoslavia? It's not realistic at all. No major political party in the Balkans advocates for Yugoslav reunification. I am convinced that a huge majority of people would refuse the idea. However, I am worried about Western Balkans as potential future federation. Balkan countries Serbia, including province Kosovo, Bosnia, Montenegro, Albania and North Macedonia, are paired together by European politicians. I am afraid that European politicians might suggest forming Western Balkans Federation as consolation prize for not joining EU. This all depends on EU expansion. I have no problem with other countries joining EU. Just leave Serbia out of it. Western Balkans Federation would be a bad idea like Yugoslavia was.